Hey everybody, my name is Makito Popo. Today we're going to be showcasing a new Pokemon that I've been chasing for a really long time, and that is Gogoat. Gogoat got recently a new buffed moveset with new access to Rock Slide, which helps it defeat its previous counters such as Talonflame and Typhlosion. And honestly, in these battles, he wasn't the most flexible, but honestly, I still wanted to test it out just for the sake of today's content. So let's hop into some games and see how Gogo performs. Hopping into the first match, leading Jellicent into Fortress. This is actually a bad lead as they're running Volt Switch here, so I'm forced to switch into Morpeko. Morpeko taking resistant hits from the Volt Switches, but the Rock Tomb from the Fortress will definitely hurt. Whirlwheel almost one-shots the Fortress, which is really nice here, but it is a CMP tie, so Morpeko is forced to shield. Morpeko shields that, and in comes Licky Licky. Opponent gets 3 rollouts before we're able to make it to a second Oral Wheel. Oral Wheel would probably one-shot here, so the opponent puts up a shield, which isn't really nice. However, Morpeko is already in a range where Body Slam would almost KO, but it's in a range where it can still live at least one more rollout, so meaning we can still make it to one more Oral Wheel, which is really nice because if we do, Oral Wheel number 3 will get shielded, which is really great. And now I can send in Gogoat. Gogoat, in comes Gogoat, and look at that fast move pacing. Vine Whip getting to Leaf Blade in just 5-4 pacing, but we're gonna have to go to Rock Slide to take out this Fortress. Fortress gets knocked out. We're waiting the switch timer. And in comes a Lapras. Very honestly a really surprising switch here by the opponent. But either way, we're going to fire off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is going to do some significant damage, and the opponent will now throw energy. This is probably a Sparkling Aria here. Yes, it is. Thank goodness it is. Gogo able to hang on with quite a bit of substantial HP left. Able to fire off that Leaf Blade and take down the Lapras. Back in comes the Licky Licky. We're able to swap into the Morpeko and catch a Body Slam, which is really great here. And now we can try to get into a Leaf Blade with Gogo, but it does not land because rollout is a 3-turn move, while we used 4 turns in that one. But it's alright, we still have a shield with Jellicent. Jellicent able to outpace. Well, okay, we're maybe not outpace, but it's very close. It has just so much HP anyways. The opponent decides to left tap, and at this point this game is over. So that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Jellicent into Charjabug. Charjabug is actually a core breaker for this entire team to deal with, so it's a little unfortunate. The opponent safe swap into Annihilate against our Morpeko, which is really unfortunate here. Morpeko going to enter into Hangry mode, but it will not last long against an Annihilate. Now we must think we have to send in Jellicent to get some farm with Hex, but the opponent already at a Rage Fist. Rage Fist will take away half of our remaining HP. Well, really it's full HP, but anyways, we get the Hexes in. Hexes will do some significant damage despite not doing a lot of damage against normal Pokemon. But anyways, they come back in with Charjabug. We're able to fire off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will do massive damage here. And Jellicent almost reaches another move. The opponent realizes that if we get to another move, it won't be able to farm down without having to lose substantial HP or losing a shield. It probably would have been KO range here anyways, but in comes Gogo. Gogo going to have to farm up a bit. Gets up to 2 Leaf Blades. Leaf Blade should KO from this range, but it really does matter about what it's in the back. In comes Celio, and I think this game is over. Celio's Powder Snow pressure is just too much for Gogo to handle, and even with 2 Leaf Blades, they have a shield, and I'm pretty sure Leaf Blade is survivable for the Celio here. Celio, yup, it does survive on a decent amount of HP, able to do a lot of damage. Surf, I don't really know why they went for the Surf there, but either way, the game's over. They go for 2 counters on the Annihilate. We managed to reach a Leaf Blade on 1 HP, but they just had the Powder Snow and just too much HP for us to handle. Hopping into the next match, leading Jellicent into Jirachi. This is a very good lead. Jirachi will be immediately switching out into Licky Licky and sending Gogoat. Gogoat originally had Brick Break, so he could potentially pressure the Licky Licky's shields here, but honestly I'm going to overfarm here. But they go for the Hyper Beam secret attack. Oh my goodness, I don't understand why players are running Hyper Beam on Licky Licky nowadays. But either way, we're going to have to send back in our Morpeko. Morpeko has to shield a Shadow Ball even though it's resisted. Now it's going to reach an Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel should knock out from this range. Yep, it does. And now we're entering Hangry mode. The opponent sends back in Jirachi, but that is actually a big mistake by the opponent. And honestly, even though they do have access to Aura Wheel here, we'll be able to get more moves off with the Morpeko due to the fact we had residual energy fighting against that Licky Licky. Jirachi fires off the Aura Spear. We're already at 2 Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs bait. Is it going to land? Yes, it does. It gets the final shield, and now we're able to freely just Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel going to easily knock out the Jirachi here. And honestly, let's see what we have in the back. In comes an Emolga. Emolga is probably not going to survive on Aura Wheel here. And pretty much this is just GG's. So, good game to the opponent. That was a really close matchup. Hopping into the next match, leading Jellicent into Ninetales. Ninetales, this is really a good lead for us because they're running Powder Snow, which is really great. Powder Snow did get buffed this season, but it will still not be doing a lot of damage to the Jellicent. Jellicent able to reach Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does substantial damage to the Ninetales. Ninetales continues to farm, and they're starting to fire off their energy. This is probably a Dazzling Gleam here, but Dazzling Gleam not going to do too much damage. And right now we're going to fire off another Surf. Surf will KO or get a shield. And honestly, I don't really see the reason why they would shield here anyways. But either way, they're going to fire off more energy. This is just a Weather Ball here. Weather Ball will not take out the Jellicent from this range. We're going to get to a second Surf. Second Surf will probably grab the final shield or the KO. Fairly like the KO. And we do get the KO. And for some reason, the opponent top lefts, which is fairly interesting, but good games to the opponent. Hopping into the final match, leading Jellicent into Florges here. Florges will be doing some massive damage with his Trailblaze, but for some reason it does not throw first. So we're able to throw our Shadow Ball, which will do massive damage to the Florges, almost putting it at red health. Florges will charge up its Trailblaze. Trailblaze will do massive super effective damage onto the Jellicent, and in comes a great Gogoat swap by me, of course. Anyways, the Gogoat able to catch that Trailblaze resistant as Florges' moveset is just entirely walled by any grass type. They come in with a Feraligatr for some reason. Feraligatr will get absolutely damage outpaced by the Gogoat. Gogoat has to shield this if it wants to get another Leaf Blade off, and I decide to do so. Leaf Blade here, number 2. Gets shielded again by the Feraligatr, but the Feraligatr is already so low health that it's probably going to be in farm down range for the Morpeko. The Gogoat will take that Hydro Cannon and let itself go. In comes Morpeko. Morpeko almost gets the Thunder Shock farm down, but it has to use a final shield here. Final shield gets used by Morpeko. Morpeko now has a lot of residual energy with it, and in comes a Greninja. Greninja tries to get a catch with the Florges, but Florges does not get a successful catch, and in comes Hangry mode. Morpeko able to land on Aura Wheel next onto the Greninja. Even though it's resistant, I think the game is still pretty much over. 2 Thunder Shocks almost put it into a range where it could have been killed by a 3rd Thunder Shock, but either ways, we can put it into the range of 2 hexes. Jellicent takes it down, and that is a good game. All in all, I think Gogoat isn't a terrible Pokemon, especially now that it got buffed, but it still has some weaknesses to look out for. Like, it is definitely very spammy with its leaf blades, but honestly in these battles I didn't get a lot of Talonflame matchups, which means I couldn't just bomb some birds out of the sky, which was pretty unfortunate. But honestly, Gogoat is a very strong safe switch, I think. Honestly, taking down the water types in back was honestly a breeze for me, for the Gogoat, and for the rest of the team as well. So that's probably it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and shout out to Gogoat for making it to my first ever commentated video. I know my commentary probably sounds pretty bad, but hey, I'm a learning YouTuber, and honestly, I will get better for y'all. So, see you guys next time, and shout out to all of my subscribers and my other friends for suggesting me to make this YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for a great year, and I will see you guys next year. So, Happy New Year's, guys, and I'll see you next time.